What's happening in the world? What's happening in the world? Welcome back. I'm your host, Reagan Parrington. That's the name I was given, reporting for duty. And today is May 19th, 2021. It's about 8:30 a.m. Central Daylight Time. And today I'm going to start our story off in America, where the Memphis Bridge in the past week experienced a critical infrastructure failure which caused massive traffic blockage from Little Rock, Arkansas to Memphis, Tennessee. So along with the Colonial Pipeline being hacked, we have our infrastructure crumbling before our eyes. Yes, but the two lugnuts political parties can't seem to get it together in our Congress and figure out a budget because, again, Republicans believe that corporations are people. Democrats also believe that corporations are people, so we should prioritize them over our critical infrastructure. Okay, that makes sense. Moving on, in a Jewish synagogue in the West Bank, some bleachers collapsed and killed at least two attendees. Less carbon emissions. That's what I think. It'll offset some of the babies that are being born right now. Back in America, or shall we say overseas, John Kerry visited the Pope, among other world leaders he intends to visit with in the coming days. And he states here, for the record, and I need you to understand the gravitas, yes, that's a fancy word, of the situation, of the statement, more so than what he's saying. Okay, let me repeat. We don't have the technologies yet. It is a fantasy technology we do not yet have. So, unless you've gone full retard.
Yes, that is a man on some power lines. So the background on this, it's a man who police say tried to escape custody and then put a school in lockdown and then caused a power outage to...
And I mean that no offense to mentally handicapped or disabled individuals, but if you hear that statement and think, we can't solve a crisis, maybe you should start acquiring some information on what that crisis means for you, because this is what this statement says, the top climate envoy in the richest, most developed country in the world says that we cannot solve this crisis unless we invent some technology later down the line. Yeah, that's a pretty powerful statement. Side note, I think I'm actually starting to like strawberry milk. It's good. It's good. I like strawberry milk. It's a little intense. Also in America, a professor of School of Regional City Planning says that 3 major cities, Phoenix, Atlanta, and Detroit, will experience significant heat waves resulting in essentially mass casualty events because these large cities only have 3 or 4 cooling stations. Phoenix clearly has more. And those cooling stations aren't actually required to have backup generators. So when we reach heat waves that are persistent and prolonged in the coming years, millions of people who are also now evicted cannot find a place to cool down. Something else I'm excited about is the UFO, or I should say, unidentified aerial phenomenon.
Going against the wind. Look at that thing, dude. It's
Sightings are occurring much more often, and a report is due out from Congress next month, which I am tremendously excited about. Don't you find it kind of a coinky-dink that we're starting to see sightings of aliens much more often, or at least recording them and releasing them as we approach the abyss cliff of climate emergency that we're in? Isn't it kind of, are they here, because Kerry says we need fantasy technology. Maybe we need it from them. Maybe we need to terraform, they want it from us and they're going to terraform this planet and suit it to their liking. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. But I find it awfully a coincidence, don't you? Across the oceans, in India, They just got hit by the strongest cyclone to ever make landfall in India.
The strongest storm to ever impact portions of western India.
Called Tokte, could be saying that wrong. It was about 127 miles per hour, or category 3 or 4, depending on how you categorize it when it made landfall. But get this, it's affected 85 million people with flash flooding and just horrendous winds. 85 million people with like train force winds. Know that Los Angeles County, which is one of the most populated counties and cities in the United States, only has about 10.5 million people. So we're talking about 8 times more the amount of people being affected and are in complete scramble and chaos mode right now. Also, Baton Rouge has been hammered.
A 100-year rain event for a city still recovering from back-to-back hurricanes last year.
With over 12 inches of rain, everything's flooded.
Well, I'll tell you what, guys, this is just one place of many in the Baton Rouge area dealing with these submerged conditions. This is an apartment.
Again, what John Kerry said is that we don't have a technology to solve this, so these sorts of incidences, these 1 in 100 year storms, are going to be occurring essentially much more often in frequency. So, welcome to the end times. Humanity's enormous emissions greenhouses are actually now shrinking the stratosphere. In case you don't know, we live in the troposphere just below that. But the thickness of the atmosphere has actually contracted 400 meters since the 1980s. And the researchers found that it'll shrink another kilometer by 2080 at our current rate. This has the ability to affect satellite systems, navigation, and radio communications. Not to mention, maybe I might get a little bit more sunburned. Back overseas, Japan is getting destroyed.
Japan has declared a state of emergency for Tokyo, Osaka, and 2 other prefectures for the 3rd time.
By COVID right now, we are very likely to cancel the Summer Olympics. There's a state of emergency over the entire country. The Israel and Hamas war is going on to its 2nd week of bombings. It's a war that'll go on forever. It's not going to stop. Big box stores, you know them, Target and Walmart and Home Depot, they've reported record earnings over the past quarter, because where else do you buy shit? All the mom and pop stores have been closed, so you gotta go to one place to get all your stuff. Yes, and make the oligarchs richer. And last but not least, pertaining to your quality of living in the cities, about 40 million people are at risk of eviction.
40 million Americans are at risk to lose their home
in America as our eviction moratoriums expire. So our population, you will see out panhandling on the streets in the coming months and years. I put out a video called 2021 Great Depression, the greatest depression ever, and although I'm doing financially okay, many more people are hurting, and it's going to be a tragic sight all across the land in the coming year. I'm not sure quite how to feel about it other than just complete disgust and a humanitarian crisis. So that's been your weekly roundup of news, and I hope you subscribe and like, and please go down to my Patreon and sign up. It only takes just $3 a month. I give $3 a month to homeless people. I donate clothes all the time. If you enjoy this content, please consider donating. I take a lot of time editing with new equipment that I have, and it's a process to have a day job and do this. It's a lot of work, and I hope my community appreciates it. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll talk to you soon. Later.